As one of our viewers said, Canon's fall lineup of digital cameras is more of an evolution than a revolution, and the Canon PowerShot S95 is a prime example of that. Like its predecessor, the Canon PowerShot S90, the S95 is still one of the best point-and-shoots on the market, though it only has 4 core upgrades from last year: 720p video, RAW shooting, hybrid image stabilization, and new scene modes. Now, the Canon PowerShot S95 is one of our favorite cameras to shoot with because of its lens ring located on the front of the body and its excellent menu layout and navigation. So let's jump into the design. The number one feature on the Canon PowerShot S95 when it comes to design is its lens ring control. When used in conjunction with the rear control dial, we get the same type of control that we got on the Canon PowerShot G12, only in a much more compact body. This camera is a joy to shoot with because we could customize the ring to a variety of different manual controls ranging from zoom to aspect ratio to ISO to manual focus. And there's also a shortcut button, so we can assign a number of different manual controls or settings to that shortcut button. Then we have the rear control dial, and we have quick functions on the control dial like manual focus, macro, exposure compensation, flash, self-timer. The S95 has a 3-inch, 461,000 pixel display, and it's about mid-range. For manual focus, it's not the best. We'd like a little more definition, especially in this price range. The other thing is this camera has a pop-up flash, but be careful taking pictures of close-up objects because you'll experience a little lens shadow in the bottom right-hand corner of your shots. The S95 runs on SD or SDHC cards, and it also supports SDXC cards. It runs on a thin lithium-ion battery, so it's not going to be the best battery life, but we experienced a pretty decent performance. Last but not least, this powerhouse is compact and very pocketable. With the lens ring, shortcut button, and rear control dial, very few, if any, point-and-shoots can compete with the S95 in this price range. If we wanted to adjust ISO or white balance without having to jump into an extensive menu system, all we had to do was twist the lens ring. For shortcuts, we assigned aspect ratios, and this camera has 5 different aspect ratios, which is very impressive. We had an ISO that went up to 3200 and minimum was 80. You could also use the lens ring to control the focal length on this camera from 28 millimeters, which is its wide angle, all the way up to 105 millimeters, which is full telephoto. We love the new self-timer mode, which allows us to use the lens ring to select the amount of time and the control dial to select how many shots we want to take. And just like the PowerShot G12, the S95 gets new scene modes. It gets super vivid, poster, HDR, which is high dynamic range, and that allows you to shoot in super vivid poster and a couple other effects as well. Use a tripod for that because it's easy to blur. The camera takes a series of 3 shots and then stitches them together. We also get the new nostalgia mode, and we can change saturation using the lens ring. This camera has a bunch of color options. Manual mode is great to shoot in because the lens ring controls aperture, which goes up to 8.0. Minimum is f2.0, which is nice because it's a nice bright aperture, great for close-up subjects and good for low light. White balance is great. We had a color grid, and any setting could be customized to whatever temperature we wanted, fine-tuned. So in this price range, it's very difficult to find a point-and-shoot that is this advanced, this easy to shoot with, and packed with this many shooting modes. Now for image quality, since the PowerShot S95 has the same 10 megapixel 1/1.7 inch sensor as the PowerShot G12, we experience a very similar, if not identical, image performance. And this camera offers the ability to shoot in RAW, and we recommend doing that because we experienced more detail in RAW mode by far. Colors on this camera are fantastic. Detail, sharpness, It's just an excellent image performance from such a compact camera. In low light, this camera manages noise very well, even at ISO 1600. Noise is definitely noticeable and it's inevitable, but the noise management with this camera is very good and it matches the G12. Shoot in RAW any chance you have, and just like the G12, the S95's video mode is a little bit of an afterthought. There's no ability to optically zoom in video mode, and manual controls are almost non-existent. We do get to shoot in color accent mode, miniature color swap mode, but that's about it. So overall, image quality is very good, pretty much tantamount to the Canon PowerShot G12. Now for the Canon PowerShot S95 final answer. It's very difficult to tango with the S95 if you're a competitor. It's very difficult to find a camera that's better than this camera in its price range and in its class. If you want a big zoom, look elsewhere. But if you want a point and shoot that is packed to the brim with shooting features and excellent stealthy external controls, then the Canon PowerShot S95 is your camera. The Canon PowerShot S95 is highly recommended by us here at InfoSync. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out the full review at infosyncworld.com. I'm Mike Perlman.